Hey guys, this is Pops. Gigi and I just put pool in. We put a 12-foot Bestway pool, 42 inches deep. Pretty cool. I like it. We hadn't got it all finished. We've got it up. We got water in it, but now we've got to put in the pump to filter it. And that being said, all the reviews we've read about the Bestway pump says that their pump and filtration system is like not very good. I mean, it'll work functionally for maybe a bathtub, but not for a pool with 2,400 gallons in it. So what we did a little bit more research, and we purchased a Swimline sand filter. And what I'm going to do today is put that together, and I'm doing a little video here to show you what I do and how I do it. If it'll help you, I hope it does. It's going to slow me down putting this thing together, but hopefully it'll help you guys out because, well, when you do something, reading directions suck. They really do. And sometimes I'm a guy that likes to see things. I learn better than reading. So, but hopefully if I can help you, it'll be worth the watch, okay? Hang on. All right, I've got this thing unboxed and separated out, and you'll see what I have here. I've got a pump, and I've got a host of fittings to go in here, plastic fittings. I've got some clamps. They were kind enough to throw in some Teflon tape, some fasteners to attach the pump to the base. Got a pressure gauge, more fittings, and that's the clamp that goes around the blue pump here that connects the four-way valve to it. And you've got hoses, which I'm glad to see. I mean, I've got the little hoses that came with the pool, and they're like paper thin, and these seem to be a lot better. And fortunately, the diameter is exactly what I need. I think it's 1.25 inch diameter, so I won't have to do any remodifications to the pool and just mount it right on. And then you've got the base for the pump and the I guess that's a cap that goes, I don't know, we'll find out in a few minutes. But I do have directions, and I am going to tour through them a little bit for my own satisfaction and to see if I know what I'm doing. I like to shoot from the hip most of the time, but like I said, I can't stand to read. But anyway, I will read through it and start showing you what I do and how I do it. Okay, there again, hope it helps. Okay, the first thing we need to do, according to that manual, is put this drain valve in the tank. You'll see a threaded side, and you'll see a side here that's like it's kind of like a filter element. What you want to do is you got a couple of gaskets you got to put on. This gasket here has got a flat side and it's got a ridge side. Put the flat side against the flange here on this valve, and then lift it up and put it inside here. And then you have another gasket with the same thing, flat side and a ridge side. It's two of the same. You want to take the flat side and push this against the tank itself. So when you hammer down on it, it's going to keep it flat. And this is a little nut that goes on here to make it secure. And you'll see it's recessed in there, so the flange will go inside of that, or the gasket will go inside of that. And these threads are really close threads, so it's going to take a while to hammer this in, but we're going to do it. And these are plastic, so when you do go to tighten it up, don't overdo it. If you overdo it, you'll strip it, and then you got a leak, and then you're going to start cussing and wish you'd never bought this freaking pool. And it's about like a plumbing fitting underneath your sink. I don't know if you've ever done one of those or not. I'm going to get a pair of channel locks and put just a little additional pressure to it. Not a lot, but just a little. Okay, here we go. And you can hold it inside with just your hand. And this thing will kind of tell you when to quit turning or quit trying to turn it. So that's more than tight enough, okay? Then you have another cap here that caps it off so it doesn't leak. And you have an additional gasket that goes inside that cap. So there again, you got a flat side, and that goes to the bottom of the cap or the top, and the ridge side, that will go against this lip right here, okay? And you can't see the ridges in this video, I don't think. If you do, you got really good eyes, but you can see it when you start to put it together. But anyway, put that on. And this cap itself, just hand tighten it. You don't have to hammer it down. when you want to drain it, the last thing you want to do is go find tools and start draining it. Done. Done. Oh, you can have sun with that too. Neat. Okay, now we're going to attach the pump to the base. It's just a little plastic base, but that doesn't matter. It's going to be fine. And what you need to do, what you need for this particular thing is the little hardware packet. You've got 4 screws and nuts, okay? Tools required will be a Phillips head screwdriver there. So that's all you need. One thing that I would advise you to do, and anytime I do any kind of assembly, because I'm a klutz, is go to your Harbor Freight or go to your local hardware store, get you a magnetic tray, pour your nuts and stuff in there, and that way if you drop it, they don't go flying everywhere, okay? And you don't wind up cussing. So what you want to do is line this thing up. You'll see the holes are down in this lower side, okay? And the foot goes down here, and there are 4 matching holes for the pump and for this. Turn this over and you'll see those 4 holes are right here, and they're notched out so that you can put your nuts down inside of it, your hardware nuts, okay? Just didn't want to get you to get confused. But sorry, that's just a little poke at fun here. But you just take and put the nut and insert it, and that'll act like a wrench for you to hold it in place when you start screwing this thing down. And there's some multiple holes in here, so make sure you're lining up with the right ones. You might actually even want to mark them when you put the pump up there. I guess the other nuts are for mounting it to some kind of base they probably sell separately. And you only get 4 nuts, so don't drop them. It's like I just did. They go flying across the house. Especially if you're trying to do it outside. There's always one that wants to give you a little bit of trouble. That's when you get a bigger hammer and just drive it on in there. And then once you do that, all you got to do is take your pump, set it up here, turn your base the right way, and then insert your screws. And secure it to the base. Can't get a lot simpler than that. So just do all 4 and then we'll go to the next step. The next thing we need to do, in the instructions it doesn't tell you to do this, but you're going to need to do it. So I'm going to tell you how to do it. You're going to put the tank assembly onto here. The instructions next day you start adding sand, but it's kind of hard to add sand till you put this in here. So what we're going to do, if you'll notice when you take it apart, you have to turn it. You've got a little nipple here and a little nipple here, and you've got 2 little corresponding slots you could kind of snap those things down into, and you just push it down in it and you twist lock it, okay? So once you click it in, then you just slightly turn it back to you, and what you should see at that point is the outlet pump here, and then the drain is all on the same side, okay? Okay, we've got the pump assembly up on the foot pad. It's going to be riding on outside. Now the next thing we need to do is to put in the sand pipe filter. You'll see this here. Just take and insert it down inside, close to the middle as possible. And it also comes with a cap. Don't lose this cap, keep it. This is a filler pipe that when you put the sand in, you do not want any sand going down inside that filter tube, okay? So you'll notice you got one side with a cap that fits right in here. We'll block that out. And that'll allow you to pour your 42 pounds of sand down in there without getting anything in the filter pipe. And then once you do that, you can remove this, and that'll be stable. It won't be bouncing around like that. And it'll be centered, so when you put the head assembly on, it'll line right up without a problem or issue, okay? So now I'm off to Home Depot to buy some filter sand, because I forgot to do that. We'll put that in, and then we'll get this show on the road. Okay, we're back from the Home Depot. We made the trip. It was a successful one. Went to Walmart first, just because I had some other things to do. And Walmart's got a lot of pool supplies, but they don't have no sand. I don't believe that. So, but anyway, Home Depot. Quick Right pool sand, 50 pounds, $9.98 for that, and it's supposed to last 4 years, according to the manufacturer, okay, of this pump. And while I was getting it ready for putting the sand in, I told you earlier on the little base that I made, instead of putting screws through the base frame itself, what I did, if you can see it, I just cut some little cleats on that side and on the back side, and then I put one over here. I have no idea if this thing moves or shakes or whatever, but this is going to keep it on the stand. I know the stand itself won't move because the pump's probably 25, 30 pounds, and then you've got 42 pounds of sand that's going to put in it, and it's not going to walk. But anyway, we're going to get ready. I'll set the camera up here so you can see me pouring the sand in. And one thing, you'll see here, you pour it down through here. Make sure this cap is covering that tube. You do not want any sand going down in that tube, okay? That's just a major no-no and faux pas, so don't do that. And as soon as you get it poured in, hang on to that. Don't lose this top, because the next time you do it in 4 years or whatever, you're going to want to have that to protect that tube when you pour it in. Plus, it's going to make it easier to pour the sand. So let me set the camera up so you can see me do this. It's fairly a mundane thing to do, but I'll do it anyway just so you see it. All right, kids, here we go. Lifting the bag up a little bit. You know, I'm 65 years old, and 50 pounds of sand is a hell of a lot heavier than it was when I was little. But anyway, that being said, here we go. Let's give it a shot. Kind of like filling a litter box. Just had a thought. On the other side is one of these nozzles that's coming up out of that pump. I'm going to cover it right quick just so I don't get any in there. And I'll be honest with you, I've done harder things in my life, but this is pretty awkward. Yeah, I put a piece of tape over that plug or that fitting. The last thing I want to do is have any sand getting down in the cogs of that pump while it's turning around. Okay. They were pretty good. Put a little bit more. Take it up to about 3/4 full. That should give me about 42. That's what you call an educated guess. Looks pretty good to me. You notice, like I said, that pipe's going to be upright so it can go up inside the filter head. The sand itself is keeping that thing upright for you. I'm going shake it around a little bit. Okay, the sand is in, so now it's time to put the head on the unit. And before we do that, we have to lubricate the O-ring, like I said earlier. It's more of an anti-seize prevention measure than anything. Because like I said, when you put this on and seal it up, it could be a while before you'll take it back off. So when it does come off, you want to make sure it comes off fairly easy. And what I'm going to do, like I said earlier, take a Q-tip and get a little bit of petroleum jelly on here and go around the flange area that it's going to face up against first. And you can be as liberal as you want to with that. It's going to make it easier to put on. It won't say that anywhere in the instructions, but anyway, I'm going to do it. Then I'm going to take just a rag and take and drag the O-ring through it. Get it really saturated as much as I can. And just get some in the pores of the O-ring. And then I'm going to put it on the pump, okay? And now I'm just going to kind of wipe around here, get off any excess. All right. Save that because there's more O-rings over here you'll need to put that on as well. All right, so the next thing we need to do is put it on the unit itself. I stand corrected on the wrench, you won't need one. The clamp is such that when you put the nut in there, it holds it still. So all you need is the Phillips head screwdriver still. So you got to struggle just a little bit to get it around that clamp. Just push down on your head assembly. And then put one of the half rings on, like say this side first, and then you can come in and put it on the other side. I would have shown you that, but it's kind of hard to do a video and do the work itself. Putting this pump together is a whole lot easier than video, and I tell you. But my partner in crime is upstairs working on something else, so GiGi is not down here to help me. Alright, so I'm going to snug this up real tight. You know, the one thing I didn't do was turn this pump on just to see if it worked. I hope it does. I swear I do. That's usually the first thing I do when I put something together to make sure the pump and everything works, so the electric part of it works. But this time it didn't happen. So there you go. And I'm backing this off and tighten this with a, kind of like putting lug nuts on a tire. You want to kind of balance the clamp. But what I had done is pinched this one off completely tight together, and this one still had about a ½ inch gap. I just want to make sure I got a real nice seal, because there's going to be some pressure on this thing when you start pumping that water through it. That looks better. And I tried to move this a minute ago. I'm going to tell you what, this is heavy. I believe we're good to go. Next is hose attachments. Okay, what we're doing now is putting all the fittings on. You got 3 on the pump head, and you got 2 on the pump, and you got 3 on the disbursement head. And what you're going to do is you got an O-ring, you want to put some grease on it, Teflon tape, screw it in, and then snug it up real good. Snug it up by hand first, and then come back in with your channel locks and just make sure that they're very secure. It doesn't have to be extremely tight, but it needs to be tight. Do it by hand first. And as I'm doing this, looks like we're finally going to have a storm out there. So I get it to a certain point and I can't take it out, plug it in. All right, later. All right, pump is operational. Pump's installed. Pump's working well. If you look, the pool is doing a great job. We've had it in place for about a week. This pump has the ability to cycle 2,400 gallons about twice an hour, and that's the size of our pool. We've got our chemical level right. We're real pleased with that. We've enjoyed it every day so far. It's going to be 96 degrees today, and I feel sure we'll be in it sometime this afternoon. GiGi and I are both retired, and so we've got nothing better to do than to tackle little challenges like this. You'll notice that we have other videos. If you look at our page, if you subscribe, and if you like and give us a thumbs up and subscribe to it, you'll see other videos that we do. We're too cheap to have people do things for us. We try to tackle it ourselves and try to share our knowledge with you guys too. So, all right, well, I'm going to go down and show you a couple of things that I told you wrong earlier on the part of the video, and hopefully you can catch that before you get too far into it. Couple things right out the gate I know I told you wrong about, because I had never done the pump before, and well, I didn't do it right, okay? But I admit fault. If I make a mistake, I'll tell you I made a mistake. But anyway, like I said, here is how she's set up and how it's running. Think about this as the front of the pump. This is where the water comes in. This is the intake port, okay? There's two lines that feed that one line. It goes in, goes up to the 9 o'clock position on the filter head unit. This, at the 6 o'clock position, coming straight at you, is that's where it comes out, okay? That's the outlet that pumps back into the pool itself and keeps it clean and clear. You'll see here also on the 3 o'clock position is a backwash. Now, earlier in the video, I had showed you that there was a valve here, or a fitting there. I took that off and just put the cap on it, because you won't need this but about once every 2 weeks. And this is where you want to back flush the unit, okay? When you notice the water flow into your pool has reduced a little bit, if you notice that, then you may have a little bit of sand built up and you'll want to backwash it. And the way you backwash it is you turn the pump off. Never adjust this valve until the pump is turned off, okay? Take this off, just screw it in hand tight, and then back it back off when you want to put this one on. Screw it in hand tight, and then put a hose on this so you can route the water where you want it to go. Turn it to the backwash position, let it run for 30 seconds, and then cut it back off. Don't let it run more than 30 seconds, okay? If you do, you take a chance of getting sand up in the tube, and you don't want that. It'll mess things up, okay? Then you can take this back off, put that fitting back on, or if you choose to leave that on, you can, but me, I just rather take it off and put the right cap back on it so dirt and debris doesn't build up inside and mess it up, okay? It keeps my threads clean. Now, also, one thing I told you not to do, but you need to do, is you put thread locking tape on this, and you put an O-ring fitting. I told you didn't have to have an O-ring, but do put one on there, because it is pressurized and you want to make sure it seals up tight so you don't have any leaks and it holds your pressure. Put a little bit of Vaseline on there or some kind of a lube on it, and then you have it in 5 places. You have one here, 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 and here. You'll notice there's no water leaking. So if the water's not leaking, we got good pressure, okay? Nothing coming from the seal cap. When you put this head unit on, you got that pipe in the middle like I showed you. You just sit there and put that over the pipe and push it down onto there, and then you'll put these rings in. I told you about how to do that, and you secure them up as snug. If you don't have any leaks, no water forcing out, you've got it sealed properly, okay? All right. Well, wish you luck with your pool. Enjoy your summer. Pops and Gigi, like I said, we have other videos that we do, and if we helped you at all, if we showed you 2 things that you didn't know in the assembly of this pump, we hope it was a success for you, okay? Enjoy your pump, have fun. Allow yourself an hour to an hour and a half to put it together. In time you watch some videos and read the directions or whatnot and put it together. But it's pretty simple assembly, but it's well worth it, okay? You will enjoy your pool, and you will enjoy it for years to come, I do believe. Take care, have a great summer, be safe.